Hey, I've been held up.
Yeah, no worries.
What have you got there?
The new T-Roc. You'll just want one. Volkswagen.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you are joining us from in the world right now. My name is Ed Morrison. Welcome to the Bay Games 2020 Unstoppable Edition. You are with us for the awards ceremony, ladies and gentlemen. What a mammoth weekend it was. First and foremost, I would like to thank IT Basecamp, who have been a massive support and sponsor of ours throughout. And I've got to say, I'm still recovering from what was a massive weekend of, well, I just called workouts, and every now and then I participated in one, but watching it all go down took it out of me. And I know that my co-host and the director of the Bay Games feels the same way. Mr. Matt Locke. Matt, welcome once again.
Hi, Ed. It's can't believe we're here already, but it's great to be back online with you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. And appropriately, it's time for us to acknowledge those that were right at the pointy end of the spectrum when it comes to the leaderboard. And there's some pretty awesome prizes for these folks, including something that money can't buy, Matt.
That's exactly right. So, as those who followed us over the weekend will know, we have this year, and for the Unstoppable Edition and all future events, we have introduced something pretty special, and that is podium finisher T-shirts. They are black and gold, and literally money cannot buy them. These things are beautiful, designed and created by the team at Unbroken. I spoke to Unbroken today, the founder Nathan, and we're ready to place orders tomorrow and get these into production and ultimately get them onto the backs of those who have earned the right to wear them.
Now, before we jump ahead to what else they'll receive, in terms of the people who did in fact earn that right to those T-shirts, of the tests that were thrown to them this weekend, Matt, what was your favourite test, or what was your favourite event to watch go down?
Look, I guess given my background in terms of sporting endeavours, the rower would have been my favourite event out of all of that, and for sure, I didn't get to see too many. Obviously, we saw lots of it done in testing. I didn't get to actually watch too many of the individuals or teams complete the rower, but I appreciated the feedback about the rower, and that feedback was that it was for sure the hardest or the toughest event, and I think that's a testament to the programming, frankly. I appreciated that feedback. So I'm going to go with the rower.
You're an evil man, but I understand where you're coming from. It was a very unique test and very beautifully crafted. It wasn't just a long row. For those that are perhaps joining us for the first time, it involved having some burpees over the rower at the start, then a long row, and then some burpees over the rower at the end, depending on the division you were in. That changed the rep scheme and the length of the row. Now, back to what our athletes will receive, Matt. We've got some awesome prizes as well as the T-shirts, including a really innovative and amazing product from Time Birds Timers.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Time Birds Timers, I think we're just settling with the word that they are sexy. They're a really great creation, brand new really. In fact, the first production run is due to be with us in December. By us, I mean with everyone on the Kickstarter campaign who pledged and locked theirs in. So certainly the team are on track for a December delivery. It's a great story, love it. They're from Melbourne. Four founders have created a very elegant solution to a very real problem for most of us who like to participate in many different forms of sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And you and me talked multiple times over this weekend, in fact, when we found ourselves wanting to time a workout, but also wanting to having to either film the workout or listen to music or what have you. So that timer really does, like you said, an elegant solution to a problem which is very vexing. And now it wouldn't be a Bay Games competition. Dare say it wouldn't be a Bay Games broadcast unless we mentioned Cosmorex Coffee and made sure that some good folks out there were getting Cosmorex Coffee in their hands.
All of the podium finishers will, amongst other things and everything we're talking about, they will also receive a brand new blend actually that's been put together specifically for the athletes out there in the world. So it really is a liquid weaponry. It's called Strive, and as I say, it's a blend created by Cosmrex Coffee. And so the podium finishers will be some of the very first on the planet to receive that beautiful blend of coffee bean.
You're making me quite jealous hearing that. Well, an amazing array of prizes for our podium finishers. Now, we were briefly talking about the Time Birds time before, and Matt used the word sexy, and I'd have to agree with that. But don't take our word for it. Take a look for yourself.
Well, I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see.
It looks something like this.
I love it when you
Well, we're fortunate enough now to be joined by an athlete who competed over the weekend in the Bay Games, and not only the athlete but also their coach. I'm referring to Belle Ryan and her coach Ray. Welcome, guys. Belle, I might start with you. How are you feeling less than 48 hours? Well, maybe it is in fact a bit more than 48 hours after finishing the competition on the weekend.
Yeah, really good, thank you. Still a little bit sore, recovering, but still feeling good.
Now, Matt said that the rower was was his favourite event. Matt, I'll let you return fire after Belle gives this answer. But has Matt got problems, or was it actually a fun event to do?
I did not enjoy the rower workout. Well, I did, but it was my least favourite of the day. I would have to say my favourite was the skips and ladder with the double unders and the shoulders overhead.
Yeah, absolutely, and I would agree. I think that was a beautifully crafted workout. Ray, welcome to you as well, mate. As a coach for the workouts, when you saw the workouts for the first time, what was your overarching sort of feel about the program for the weekend that the athletes had to go through?
Overarching feel, it had a really good spectrum across the board in terms of testing athletes with their aerobic and anaerobic energy systems. So, having something that was just super short, fast, and intense, like the floating event, and working out where do we time that floating event based on how the other events were structured. I just felt it just had a really good blend of different type of workouts to really challenge the athletes to really test their capabilities and abilities across different energy systems and modalities.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting that you mentioned that floating workout because I know, and Matt, perhaps we could grab your thoughts on this. Did you expect, Matt, a lot of people did that workout almost immediately, first thing in the day. Were you expecting that?
No, we were a bit surprised when we started getting the feedback just after we'd finished the broadcast that so the leaderboard was starting to light up with athletes completing the Are You OK workout. We hadn't expected that, but I spoke to a few of the athletes locally some of whom had done that, and they simply wanted to get it out of the way. It also gave them the opportunity of redoing it if they wanted to. So I guess, interesting strategy, but on the whole, I think it was to get it out of the way, frankly. I'm not aware that too many people did redo it. I heard of one or two where whoever was videoing or timing had maybe got it wrong and they had to redo it again. But on the whole, I think it was just to get it out of the way. A good warm-up, let's say.
Well, certainly, I feel like it was a little bit more than warm-up, but I totally know where you're coming from. Belle, if I can flip back to you for a moment, there's lots of different structures to competitions, and we've got the sort of the classic in-person experience, which I think everyone's familiar with. And then we've got these online competitions, which normally the events are all like that sort of floater event. But the structure of this competition was such that you only had very short time frames to complete the workouts. Did that make it feel a little bit more like that in-person competition experience?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the structure and having the windows. It just let us set it up a bit better and also focus on fuel in between events and then not leaving them too long a gaps as well, which was good.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ray, I suppose one of your focuses would have been obviously strategizing workouts and whatnot, but making sure that that downtime in between workout was made optimal.
Yeah, 100%. We actually got together the day before and had a strategy session where we actually set times of when we actually wanted to do each workout, and we wanted to maximize that time in between the events. And we even talked about, our recovery in between those events as well, to kind of maximize our performance for each event, based on what they were and based on that time frame that we had to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, just before we let you guys go, what's on the horizon next? Does the planning and preparations begin for the Bay Games 2021? Or is it just kicking back with a few beers for the moment?
Well, I actually suggested to Belle that we have a bit of a break, at least a 1 week break, but she pretty much demanded to get ripped straight back into training again. So on Sunday, I put together a brand new 8-week cycle for her, and we've already gone straight back into training. I know competition-wise, Bay Games is definitely the next one on our calendar.
March 2021.
March 2021.
Well,
and hopefully there's no more COVID restrictions as well.
Oh, yes. You're joining the whole lot of us with fingers and toes crossed. Guys, congratulations on a wonderful performance over the weekend. And we hope to see you in March 2021 at the in-person event of the Bay Games.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
Cheers.
very much.
Of course, that was Belle Ryan and her coach, Ray, already back into a new training cycle. Matt, I think that would suggest that, one, the workouts were pretty tantalizing, but the field is hungry for more in 2021.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yesterday we had dinner with a few athletes who are still in Jervis Bay, and they were sort of working their way through in discussion through different different events, different workouts, and there were so many comments like, right, next time in March I'm going to do better, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and just still pumped from the event. And that's awesome. It's the ultimate flattery, really, from an event organizer perspective, to have that level of energy and enthusiasm already. Just hours after finishing, they're looking forward to the next event and strategizing how they'll train differently and what they'll do, what they'll work on. And in fact, that was an interesting conversation today with one of the athletes. They really appreciated the weekend for many reasons, but one of the reasons was they came away knowing where they need to work on, what they need to work on, and what their plan to do so looks like. And that's just fantastic, isn't it? It's a lifestyle at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and I think that's how all good athletes would look at a competition almost. It's just feedback on where strengths and weaknesses lie. Now, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, although I'm already imagining myself at Jervis Bay in March next year. But tonight is about focusing on those who performed exceptionally well over the weekend, which all our everyday athletes did. But of course, we're referring to our podium finishers, and it's time that we turn our attention to them. We're going to start off, ladies and gentlemen, with the teen results. And in first place for the male teen was Jack Vernon. And in first place for the female teens was Jorja Brown. And Matt, perhaps it's worth noting that it's just so impressive to see people of this age engaging in events like the Bay Games Unstoppable Edition. And a conversation that I often have with almost anybody of any age, even someone who's significantly younger than me, they always say, I wish I started earlier. Well, these teens are probably saying the same thing one day, but at least they've started much earlier than I did. I can assure you of that.
Absolutely. Each year we've tried to put on a juniors or a teens category, and we never really get a lot of traction with it. And I'm not sure why, because I know there are lots of active teens out there, but nonetheless we persevered, especially with the online format. It gave us the ability, like with Masters, to have dedicated categories. And look, I can speak to JB, our winning teen female, and I'm sorry, Jack, I don't know you personally, but I do know JB, and I know that she was so looking forward to competing in the Bay Games this year in the in-person event, and she was so excited that the clock would have just ticked over to 13 for JB. And let me tell you, she's a She's a cracking athlete. She's someone that we're going to be having a keen eye on for the future, and ultimately we want to help foster that in some small way by enabling her to, and of course, same with Jack and anyone else, to be a part of these events and start getting experience in the competition environment. But she certainly trains at Salt Shed in North Sydney. I mean, those guys there, they do an amazing job of encouraging, supporting, and holding back in some ways. She wants to train more and more, and she's only young. She's still growing, so they certainly help to find that middle ground of what's the right amount of training per week and so on. But huge congratulations to both of our teen athletes for putting themselves out there, getting involved, and competing. And I have to say, in fairness, they were competing with the intermediate workouts, so there wasn't let's say a different workout for the teens. They were competing at the intermediate level, which is pretty phenomenal when you consider their ages.
Absolutely, and just brave to put yourself out there at that age, and as echoing all your thoughts, Matt. Congratulations to both Jorja and Jack. Let's turn our attention to a different division now, and I'm referring to the Masters. And perhaps we'll have a look at the results and then comment on the individuals who are placed on the podium. So starting with the Masters men. In third place with 15 points was Alan O'Connell. In second place, all the way from the USA, was TJ Lyles with 10 points. And in first place with a clean sweep was Phil Evans. And Matt, I think particularly pleasing from our point of view, it's great to see an international name on the podium finish for the Masters men.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, TJ in particular has been, he was one of the international athletes who competed, who was actually reaching out to us and asking good questions. And look, we got an email back from TJ today saying just thank you so much. Really enjoyed the event, loved the workouts, loved the coverage that we provided over the weekend. Of course, he was watching all of those as replays, given the time difference. But yeah, I mean, a huge thanks to all athletes, and certainly for those overseas who were somehow doing it out of sync with the rest of the athletes down under, let's say. So it's great to see TJ on the podium where he belongs.
Absolutely, and a big congratulations to Alan O'Connell in third and Phil Evans in first with a clean sweep. And Phil Evans, an absolute ripping bloke down in Oz, and he performed really well all weekend. So congratulations on the victory, Phil. Now we turn our attention to the female Masters, and in third place was Kim von Prott with 13 points. In second place was Katrina Oldham with 11 points. And in first place with 7 points was Pip Peters. And Pip won more than just the Masters competition, did she not, Matt?
That's exactly right. So over the course of the weekend, we have had 5 Hydrogun kits to give away. And I was delighted when Pip's name got pulled out of the hat by Alethea to be one of the recipients of the Hydrogun kit. So Pip, if you weren't aware, you now are. And one of these will be winging its way towards you in the coming days. So congratulations on both fronts, an amazing effort and well done.
Yeah, so congratulations to Kim, Katrina and Pip on their podium finishes. Now, the Hydrogun, we spoke about it all weekend, and I do believe if we must use this adjective a lot. I feel like the Hydrogun was also described as sexy at one point, but again, don't take our word for it. Take a look yourself. And such was the enjoyment of the Hydrogun that the broadcast team up in Jervis Bay had, that they actually went through the enormous 6-hour battery life on Saturday. So a wonderful piece of kit and a great addition to your training bag, and uber quiet as well. So yes, get on the Hydrogun, a very, very nice piece of kit. Let's turn our attention to the intermediate female male and advanced female and males, and perhaps I'll ask you at home to hold your applause to the very end as we go through all 4 leaderboards, and then we'll dissect exactly how it went down. In the intermediate females, in third place was Holly Keckle on 21 points. In second place was Susan Ravenscroft on 16 points, and in first place was Hayley Butcher on 6 points. So a really strong display from Hayley there. In the intermediate males, in third place was Danny Besant on 18 points. In second place was Brock Seabrook with 17 points. And in first place, on only 8 points, was Kyle Tucker. When we turn our attention now to the advanced females, and in third place was Joanne Waters with 15 points. In second place was Julia Stanmore with 14 points. And in first place was Annabelle Thompson with 9 points. And lastly, the advanced males, in third place with 20 points was Matt Bosley. In second place, Andrew Swaffield with 17 points. And in first place was Clayton Carey with 7 points. Now, Matt, a whole host of results there, and fair to say that there's certainly some familiar names on those 4 leaderboards, but also some new names, and it's great to see just a bit of a mixing of the old and the new.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, some familiar names and some less so. And Hallie, huge congratulations to you. I'm just coming back to the Hayley or Hallie. So Hallie, good job, well done. And Johanna, the same topic for you as well. Congratulations. So, but great to see you all out there. And there was, you can tell by the score, there were some really closely fought battles. So absolutely congratulations to everyone who made it onto the podium.
You obviously are more familiar with some of our athletes than I am, which is really nice, as I'm a bit newer to the Bay Games team, but I promise that I will familiarise myself with all these people. But one person that I do know was our advanced male athlete, Clayton Carey, and a lovely fellow, a gym owner down in Melbourne. So somebody who's had it tougher than most this year in terms of trying to operate his business. And for him to stay fit and compete on the weekend, and not only compete, but to come away with the victory, was a magnificent performance. And Matt was able to catch up with Clayton, and we're going to hear from him now.
Clay, good to have you on here. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me. It's a nice sunny day here in Melbourne, so it's good to see you guys up in there in the Bay Games.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was a bit hit and miss, actually, but it would have ended up being a great weekend for the in-person event. It was a bit slightly damp on Saturday morning, but actually it would have been fine. But it looks like you look like a bronze god, mate. You've been training outside a lot, I reckon.
Yeah, we've been in isolation here in Victoria, so I've just been outside every day training. As you can see, that's all my stuff in the background, and been out in the sun. The weather's been really kind over this period, so yeah, I guess I'm a little bit tanned at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right. And you're looking fit and strong. I know that we were chatting just before, and certainly you've been taking the opportunity through the COVID shutdown, which has been particularly gruesome in Melbourne, to occupy your time and mind, and that's taken itself in the form of training like a demon.
Yeah, I've definitely been taking training to, I guess, more times a day. I don't know if it's got me to another level of fitness, but it's definitely been really good to train and work on a lot of weaknesses, especially in being in lockdown, because I've got all day to train now, so I haven't got any work. So I guess that's the plus side.
Yeah, I guess we're looking at the silver lining. But,
yeah,
for sure. But look, it's provisional at the time of recording this. It's still provisional, so I'm going to offer you some provisional congratulations, because it would appear that you are going to retain first place in the male advanced category. So that would make you the boss of the Bay for this year, in fact.
That's so good.
Provisional congratulations.
Thank you so much. Oh, that's awesome. I'm really happy about that. I loved the event last year when I came, and I think I finished 8th or 7th, and I was like, oh, cannot wait to come back. And when they put us into lockdown, I think I was more disheartened that I actually couldn't come to Jarvis Bay and compete in the Bay Games. So putting on this, I was like, such a beautiful place, and you put on a really good competition, and I loved it last year. And I was like, I'm going to try and get top 5 this year. So, that's awesome. That's awesome news.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Well earned, well earned. And thank you for the kind words. Now, obviously the online, the unstoppable edition of the Bay Games wasn't obviously what any of us were hoping for, but it was putting our best foot forward. It was basically showing that, when the chips are down, you've got to lean in. And that's hence the name. We called it Unstoppable. How did that play out, apart from winning? How did that play out for you? What did your day look like?
Well, to be honest, it was really good because you gave us such a big time frame to sort of warm up into the events. So when you release them every 2 hours, I think it was, we sort of, I did it with a friend. I think she got maybe second. I think she might have got second. But we both competed together, on 2 opposite sides of the room, obviously, because we're in isolation. But I found them really tough. The first event was very challenging, and just the way you had to do that, and then the float award straight after was kind of good because you had just a few more events left in the day, and they were over 2-hour periods. And I, really capitalized on that. So I made sure I had plenty of rest and plenty of recovery in between, and I had plenty of food. So we were stretching a lot. I actually didn't mind the gap because then we could go at our own pace. But if it was actually at the Bay Games, you have a set time that you have to go at. So you have to maximize and also sort of minimize, your rest and your food intake and your hydration. But this was sort of good. We could sort of work out when we felt like it in that 2-hour period when we were really prepared for it.
You make it sound like it was easy.
It was definitely not easy. No way. It was not easy.
I
nearly sold my soul.
Well, the general feedback from anyone I was talking to yesterday was same thing. They found that event 1 was tough. It was grueling. Like they just found it was, they enjoyed it, but they said that was the hardest, let's say, the toughest event, which kind of makes sense. It was the longest. For sure, it was the endurance event of the competition. It was replacing the burpee over stand-up paddleboard, the paddleboard, and the long run, 5K or 3K run. Mm-hmm. So that was the rower was in place of that. But if that was the toughest, what would you say your least favorite was? Which one were you were hating in the moment?
I actually didn't like the bench press and thrust, the dumbbell one. I was the forearm pump and my chest and shoulder pump was just the lactic build up in there was unbelievable, and I was just hating Will Henke the whole time I was doing it.
Yeah, that was certainly the least popular workout. That seems to be if we were to take a poll, that would be the one for sure.
Yeah, you just had to hang on to those dumbbells as best you could, and I tried not to break on the bench press, and I had to break in the set of 15 for the thrusters, and I broke again in the set of 10, and I was really trying to hold on to the end, but I broke it like 6, I think, and then just had a quick shake and then grabbed them back up and got the rest of the 4 out. So I had 2 little breaks in there. I knew it was going to hurt. I knew it was going to be a big upper body pump, but I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. So I definitely, it definitely hurt.
Well, quite rightly, you can pass the blame on to Mr. Henke for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Will. Thanks for that, mate.
Thanks a lot, Will. Yeah, no, for sure. How did you go with the shoulder to overheads? Because I know we had a conversation last week, and you had a plan in mind for where you were going to get to. And how did that go?
Yeah, I wanted to get back and finish my doubles and try and get to the 60 kilo bar. I did get back to the doubles and finished all of them. And as I was running back to the 60 kilo bar, I didn't get to pick it up. I ran out of time. But I loved that workout. I love anything overhead. I love double unders. That was my favorite workout probably of the whole week.
Well, I'm pretty sure when we first released these workouts a few months ago, I'm pretty sure that was the one that within an hour of releasing the workout, you were posting videos of you testing that workout. So you'd gone straight to it. I'm pretty sure that was the one.
Yeah, everyone knows their strengths in CrossFit and functional fitness. And I was just like, yep, that's me. So I'm going to do that right now.
Well, it's certainly all paid off. And was it helpful for you having a competition like the Bay Games in this case to have some focus, bring some focus to your training over the last few months?
It really has been. See, being in lockdown here, we've been shut off from our day-to-day activities, and someone like me, I love competing, and to take that away from me, it sort of, it sort of loses my purpose a little bit, as well as I'm a coach, I own a gym, so that taking that away from me as well. It's you definitely a little bit more lost. But when I found out this was more online, I was like, yes, it gives me something to work to, something to work towards. And we're all stuck down here in lockdown. I'm lucky enough that I own a gym, so I could bring all the stuff home.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Like, it gave me, I was focusing on my training, like what I needed to do to try and get the best results in each of those workouts. I think I tested all the workouts except for the slam ball and dumbbell. I just said, I know how that's going to feel. I'm not even going to try it.
No need to test that one.
yeah. But yeah, it's definitely added some normality back to my life doing these workouts, training for a competition, even though it wasn't the same feel as being there at the Bay Games. But you guys were talking to us the whole time, adding live videos, and always there if we needed to call up about an issue with the standard of a movement and some scoring issues, which took a while to get through. But they well got there in the end, and it was just great. Like, I loved the normality it added back to my life.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad that, thank you for playing and being involved. We were gutted you couldn't be here as well. We wanted everyone to come and play again in Jervis Bay, but it's going to be 2021, and we are pretty excited for that and look forward to seeing your bronzed, smiling face here.
Oh, man, too many compliments.
Yeah, no, well, look at you. No, awesome. Look, I'm conscious of your time, Clay. Thank you ever so much for your time today. Thanks for all of the effort and energy you've poured into it, and then executing it so well on Saturday. Congratulations again, and we'll have all sorts of goodies on their way to you down in sunny Melbourne.
Oh, thank you very much, and I love the competition, and thank you guys for putting on such a good weekend for us. That was awesome.
No, not at all. Thanks, mate. Talk to you soon.
Matt, bye.
Of course, that was big Clayton Carey, the winner of the Advanced Individual Men. Now, Clayton talked a lot about recovery between events, and we should mention, we've already talked about the Hydro Gun ad nauseum, but we do have another one. That's right, another one to give away, and we'll do that right after we go through the team results, which we're going to do now. So we're giving away Hydro Guns like they're going out of fashion, and they're quite the opposite. They're very in fashion at the moment. But let's turn our attention to the team results, and perhaps once again, I'll roll through all the teams and their results before you applause. So please, if you're at home, just hold the applause. Let's start with the intermediate male teams. In third place, I'm going to refer to them as Tommy, or T-O-M-I, on 14 points. In second place on 9 points was Team Send It. And in first place on 5 points, so an absolute domination there, was WWTD. I really want to know what that stands for. Maybe Matt can shed some light on that. Let's move across to the intermediate teams that were female, all female teams. And in second place, we had CrossFit Sapphire 3 with 10 points. And in first place, we had Epic Jilt with 5 points. If we now flick across to the intermediate teams that were mixed, in third place, we have almost 40-something on 16 points. In second place on 11 points were Mart, and just pipping them by 1 point were Team Evolve on 10 points. So that's your intermediate mixed team podium. If we turn attention to the advanced teams, now if we look at the all-male advanced teams, we had Over the Hill on 11 points. In second place, we had Go Hard on 7 points. And in first place, we had CrossFit Elite on 5 points. Looking at the female teams, in third place, we had CrossFit Sapphire 2, and they're on 12 points. In second place, Epic Fitness on 11 points. And in first place, the Carb Loaders with 7 points. So a very close podium in the advanced female teams. And then the advanced mixed teams. In third place, we had the Wet Brunettes on 17 points. In second place, we had the Fun Jerks Hate Thrusters on 11 points. And then on first place, also on 11 points, and let me explain how that works, was Tribe Black. And of course, that was because of the tiebreak, which was a really innovative, or not necessarily innovative, but a very smart thing for our judging team to put, and our programmers, Will Henke, to put in the scoring system, because it ultimately allowed us to distinguish the winner. And Matt, as per usual, we've got some very interesting team names, but also some very fit teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of those battles, you could tell by the scores how close they were. It was, yeah, I'm certainly I'm familiar with some of those team names, and actually a couple of them for sure were down competing at Evolve Fitness on Sunday. And yeah, I know that there's a lot of training gone into it, and they were competing hard, and it was a great atmosphere. And just a huge congratulations to all of the teams. It takes a lot, and we're all busy lives, working, and everything else that goes with life, taking care of home life, and finding the time to come together and train and develop a strategy for how to attack each workout, and then to be able to be wherever they were competing on the day. And just there's so much goes on around it, and of course all of the support around them, whether it's spouses, mates, family, other family members, whether there's someone at home taking care of the kids, whether the kids were there being chaperoned. There's just so much that goes into it. So heartfelt thanks and huge congratulations to every single person involved, not only the athletes but their entourage as well.
Absolutely. And I could say personally, as somebody who owns a gym, that trying to get together a team competition, or a team for a competition, at the best of times is difficult, let alone during 2020. And for some gyms to have multiple teams, it's really quite inspiring, to be honest, that people are connecting with each other and still competing like that. Now, Matt, in your hand, you have, we've been calling it a hat. I'm actually not too sure what it is. What is it?
It's a vase.
Okay. It's not a hat then. It's not even remotely close to a hat. But you're about to draw out another Hydro gun. We're giving them away like hotcakes. Shall I hand over to you to do the honours, Matt?
Sure. Well, I guess I'm not going to be in any way as beautiful or as elegant as what was happening over the weekend when Alethea Boone was kindly pulling out the winning names. Now, what I would say, if you're not lucky enough to be the last recipient of the Hydrogun kit, we do have an offer that's still available. The Hydrogun team came to the party and wanted to make a special offer for anyone involved with the Bay Games. And look, these things, it's amazing. They're only $399 Australian dollars, and given the quality of them, they're really seriously well priced. But until 9 p.m. tonight, Australian Eastern Standard Time, you can get a further $50 off by going to the hydrogun.com.au website and using the code TheBayGames50, which is scrolling across your screens at the moment. It really will close at 9 p.m. tonight. It's automated with a bit of software. So if you're keen to grab one, now is the time to do so. But before you jump onto your computer, I'm going to delve my hand in here. I'm looking away as I instructed Alethea to do. I'm pulling out just one. There we go. Let's have a look. The lucky recipient of the 5th Hydrogun kit for the Unstoppable edition of the Bay Games is Jake Digby. Jake, if you're watching this, congratulations, and you'll get an email tomorrow, and for sure your Hydrogun kit that looks a lot like that will be winging its way towards you along with the other 4 lucky winners. Congratulations, and you had to be in it to win it, so congratulations and thank you for playing.
I'll be quite frank, I have zero idea how my name hasn't come out. I thought I entered about 48 times. I went through this on Sunday. I was about to say it's rigged, but the problem is it was rigged and it hasn't worked. So, Matt, it's great to see so many Hydro guns already on their way to people, and a reminder about what else has been on its way to people. So, to our podium finishers, they'll be receiving a Timebirds timer and their own delivery of the new blend of liquid weaponry, Strive, from Cosmorex Coffee. And then, of course, we've talked ad nauseum all weekend about the black and gold, the exclusive T-shirts that only those that win the Bay Games will receive. So if you're on a podium and if you see somebody with these T-shirts, you know exactly where they got them from. Money cannot buy these, folks. That's almost us for 2020, the Bay Games Unstoppable editions. Before we leave you to it, we once again need to thank all those that have supported us: King Hong Motor Group, Timebirds, Hydrogun, Cosmorex, Wonderfit Retreats, Jervis Bay Brewing Company, F45 Huskinson, Evolve Fitness, Undefined Media, Will Henke, head of programming, and then, of course, Peter Day and Alethea Boone, who joined us over the weekend. And Matt, whilst I have you on air, I'd like to say a very public thank you to you for all the hard work that you did in getting this event up and running.
Not at all. I mean, thank you. Yeah, it is a lot of work, as you well know, huge amount of work, but it's certainly all worthwhile. And to see athletes around the country and around the world in the end, having something to focus on, connecting, being part of a community, it makes it all worthwhile. I have to say, it's not just me, of course. You've mentioned already the partners that we have working around us, and I know you're going to certainly drop into some of the other key people around the team, but I certainly would like to thank my wife Nerida for putting up with me and all of the hours and the late night calls and emails that are just a reality around events like this. She's her support is without question, and as well as Monica in Portugal, who certainly being part of Europe, they've had their challenges this year with COVID as well, but Monica gives us incredible support. Sarah back at the office, taking care of athlete support, just the unsung heroes, let's say. But from my side, a huge thank you to everyone involved, both within the team of the Bay Games, but really importantly to all of the everyday athletes who get out there and get aboard and support it all, and absolutely to their families and friends as well, who support them in their endeavours.
Absolutely. And just lastly, I guess there's a reason that they stand behind the camera and not in front of it, because they don't like the spotlight. But a big thank you to the Undefined Media team once again, Jim and Migs, who sit behind the camera with headphones on and make our lives on camera extremely easy. Well, folks, that's all from us. 2020 has been an extremely challenging year, but through perseverance, you have proven that you are, in fact, unstoppable. Congratulations to everybody who was involved in this event. It doesn't matter how big or how little a part you played. We appreciate the support, and we look forward to your continued support in 2021 when we make a return back to an in-person event in March at Jervis Bay. Until then, be brave, have fun, and lead by example.
So, your T-Cross, does it come in orange?
Don't think so.
It comes in orange. The new T-Cross. You'll just want one. Volkswagen.